Hey guys, I'm learning TFT. In this video, I'm going to go through the broken artifact combos in patch 14.20. I got this idea because I just had a coaching session this morning with Demacian Raptor, Elia, and one other, I think he's actually a rank 1 European player recently. I forgot his handle, but it's because we reviewed a game on What the Forge, and I was just struggling to figure out where to place each of the artifacts on demand. I did actually put together a video recently. If you go back into my video history on the best artifacts and their holders, but I was not aware of some really broken artifact combos when you combine two artifacts that have synergies together. And so they suggested that I go through the stats and really take a look at the broken ones. Now, I've also seen replay mention this, that there's some broken artifact combos, but I never really saw a holistic like single place where somebody had done this analysis. And so here it is. So I want to first talk about my methodology. I couldn't really figure out a super easy way to break this down. So I'll share with you how I did it. And if you have a better solution that you've seen on the stats sites, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. So the way I approached it was I went through each of the artifacts on tactics.tools, clicked in here, went to items, and then looked for artifacts that had the highest delta. Now, it's unfortunate because they don't actually let you filter by artifacts here, so it required a lot of tedious effort. And on top of that, it doesn't specify that the same holder is holding both of these items. So I first went through all of these items and then identified which ones had really standout differences in their performance. And then I went through meta TFT and let's say Horizon, or let's say Forbidden Idol, Innervating Locket. I would search the combination of those two and then click into, like, let's say Vex for both of these to then figure out what their average place, top 4, and win rates are. And then I put those at the top here. So these are like the broken 2 artifact combos on specific units. Now, some of these sample sizes are quite small, especially for the 5 costs. So I would somewhat take this with a grain of salt, but I think the analysis is still useful for us to be able to draw conclusions, be able to understand how these artifacts work better and how they synergize with each other, as well as how they synergize with the units and their spells in certain situations. So I won't go into the detailed analysis. I just wanted to share this page just so that you could see how I got to this data. But so from now I can just jump straight into kind of the conclusions, and I put it into tactics.tools so that we can get a simplified view of this. And I've broken this down by where the top level has the highest win rate. I just sorted it by win rate to keep it simple. So you can see that Suspicious, Trenchcoat, Death's Defiance had 50% win rate. This is 2.8 is AVP, 78% is top 4 rate, and then win rate. And I kind of sorted it by win rate. So you can see that these top 4 here are all above 40% win rate. And then these two are 35 to 40. And then this row is, I think, 30 to 35. And then this is 25 to 30. So I didn't include any that had win rates under 25. For example, there are a lot of Innervating Idol and Forbidden Idol and Innervating Locket, excuse me. And Rakan, I believe, was like at a 24% down here, but I didn't include that just because there's a lot of data and there's a lot more units that I could have included here. But when you see kind of how the artifacts work together, you can then extend those ideas to other units as well who might not have as high win rates as the units that you can see here. So let's jump into why some of these units and artifact combos are so good. So first we have, one thing you'll notice is Suspicious Trenchcoat is in a lot of these combinations, as is Zhonya's. So first we have Suspicious Trenchcoat with Death's Defiance. And a key thing here is that when Suspicious Trenchcoat triggers, and each of them get 33% of their max health. They're all kind of squishy, and so Death's Defiance really lets them survive longer, 4 seconds longer, which might just be enough time for Morgana to be able to cast after she splits into 3. So I suspect that's why, and it heals her. So that's why this combo specifically has the highest win percentage out of any of these combos at 50%. Again, the sample size is small, so I wouldn't say that it's very definitively the best, but it's pretty good. We have Infinity Force, and I suspect the reason for this is, my guess is the HP armor magic resist, because when the original holder splits into 3, they have 33% of the max health, so that fixed HP, that flat HP increase for each of the units, not only does the 250 HP help increase the HP of the 3 copies, but each of those 3 copies then gain 250 HP. So that's my guess as to why this combo is broken. Zhonya's, same thing. When they all split, they also all get this Zhonya's effect, which increases the split copy survivability. Briar, same thing as here. Especially for Briar, that a little extra time to be able to, Briar splits and then is able to then cast, like imagine just 3 Briars running around casting, because Death's Defiance keeps Briar alive long enough. Same thing with the Infinity Force here. Karma with Mana Zane Blighting Jewel is broken. I actually didn't do the analysis for, what was it? Mana Zane Blighting Jewel for Nora should also be really strong, I suspect. Let's find out. Yeah, that's also a 50% win rate here. So I'm just gonna add that now, so since I can share this later. So Nora with Mana Zane and Blighting Jewel. Where's Blighting Jewel? Okay, so this also goes at the very top. And this combo is broken because the way Blighting Jewel works is the more that the holder casts, the lower the magic resist gets for the enemy units. And once they hit 0, the holder gets to regen mana really fast. And so you're just trying to hit this escape velocity where you just start applying your spell over and over and over again, getting more and more units down to 0 magic resist, and then you're just spamming casts. And so Mana Zane synergizes really well with that goal. If you played set 11 with Teemo, this combination was really broken there as well. Vex 3 with Forbidden Idol and Innervating Locket is broken. You'll see that this combination works for pretty much any high HP tank with a shield. So also with Morgana, Wukong, Mordekaiser, and Blitzcrank. And the reason is, and this was true for set 11 as well with Tahm Kench specifically, Tahm Kench and Bard, if you remember that reroll combination from set 11. The way it works is that when the tank shields, they have half of that shield value convert to max health, and then Innervating Locket, when the tank casts, the holder will restore 20% of their max health. Sorry, I'm going to turn off my air purifier down there. And so they can then just keep scaling HP, keep healing, keep scaling HP, and they just kind of scale indefinitely. From last set, I remember there were some like Tahm Kenches that got over like 20,000 HP, and I've seen that occur with just a 2-star Tahm Kench from last set. So this combination can work with just a 2-star, but if you have a 3-star, it just is completely broken. Next we have Gwen with Mana Zane and Deathfire Grasp. I suspect the reason that this combination is really strong is because Deathfire Grasp gives you damage amp for 10 seconds, and against the blasted target increase to 35%. So Mana Zane's already good on Gwen because the way her spell works is every time she casts, it increases the number of snips that she has by 1, so she scales over time. And with the damage amp, she just can burst through somebody really quickly, especially if you try to blast like the enemy main tank. So you want to position her right in front of the enemy super tank, and she should be able to burst them down pretty quickly. Fiora with Suspicious Trenchcoat and Death's Defiance, we talked about that with Morgana and Briar. Suspicious Trenchcoat on Fiora is very good because she sweeps through when she casts to the enemy backline. And so she's very vulnerable to being taken down if your main tank that's being attacked gets taken down. And so when you have that Suspicious Trenchcoat, it kind of splits her into 3. It's like a GA from like 2 or 3 sets ago. Keeps her alive, splits her into 3 copies, and then those 3 copies can start swiping away at their backline. And if those 3 copies can also make sure that they don't die right away to burst and heal up, then they have you just having 3 Fioras running around, which is extremely broken. Same thing with Silvermere Dawn. Silvermere Dawn's good on Fiora because she sweeps through and then she can just start stunning the backline units. And imagine having 3 of them just stunning random units. Is very strong. Same thing with Camille. Camille also kind of does a knockback and jumps around. Suspicious Trenchcoat and Infinity Force for the same reason as it's good for Morgana and Briar. We have Suspicious Trenchcoat and Horizon Focus. So imagine you have 3 copies of Briar and then they're all stunning the enemy and dealing 30% of their max health. Like if you have the original copy stun deal 30%. They split. If Briar has enough HP, let's say you're playing 8 Shapeshifter, then hopefully that those 3 copies of Briar that split stay alive long enough to all cast. So then you're getting 120% of everyone's max health, like poof, all gone. We talked about Innervating Locket and Forbidden Idol. Just get that scaling. It's much better on 3 stars than on 2 stars just because the way Innervating Locket works is it restores 20% of the holder's max health. So that's going to be a lot more effective if you have a 3-star. Gwen, Zhonya's, and Death's Defiance. You want that Zhonya's to trigger, become invulnerable and untargetable, and then the Death's Defiance really helps her heal up really quickly. So this is like having 2 like kind of lifesavers between these 2. Zhonya's and Suspicious Trenchcoat, very good for the same reason Morgana. And I forget which one triggers first. So this triggers at 50% health. This triggers at 40% health. So this won't actually trigger on the first copy of Gwen. Zhonya's will trigger on the split 3 copies, but it will make sure that when Gwen is split into 3, that she's not killed right away. So all 3 of those copies will trigger, drop aggro, and then be able to keep snipping. Nami with Mana Zane and Horizon Focus is extremely strong. Nami does an AoE stun across like a wave. And so if you can get her to do a bunch of casts and do 2 waves in a reasonably short amount of time, you're doing 30% of their max health to like all enemies in the line and then another 30%, which is just insane damage in a very short compressed period of time. Gwen with Suspicious Trenchcoat and Mana Zane, I'm not actually sure how strong this is or how the interaction works. If you happen to know, let me know in the comments. The reason I say that is I'm not sure if when the Trenchcoat triggers into the 3 copies, does Mana Zane then work again for those 3 copies? I would assume so, that's the case, which would be why it's performing really well in the stats. But if you happen to know or have tried it, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And then Zhonya's and Death's Defiance. We talked about that. Same thing with Gwen here being strong on Morgana. So if you happen to be playing on a portal with artifacts, you get another artifact and you can select them, or you get a charm where you can get an artifact, you're playing with the Forge. There are a lot of situations where you might have an opportunity to get 2 artifacts put onto the same unit, especially for What the Forge when you have a ton of artifacts and it can be really easy to get dizzy. Just having done this analysis can let you understand quickly and remember like, hey, oh, this specific situation, these combinations work well. I would love to hear your thoughts on this video in the comments. If I got anything wrong, if there are broken combos that I did not mention that you feel are worth calling out, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.